So here's our cells right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Hey folks, welcome back to Jerome Bee Farm and Homestead. This video here is going to be making some splits into this double Apimaye Nuc. So it's a 7-frame nuc, and with a middle divider you can do 2 nucs with 3 frames on each side. So I pulled a split out of hive 8 over here. That's a really strong hive, and it had 2 frames with multiple swarm cells on it. So I left a frame over there that had 2 cells, and I grabbed a frame that has like 7 or 8 swarm cells on it that are up a little higher on the frame. And I put it in this nuc box as is, and I shook a couple frames of bees in here with it. So I'm gonna put that in here, but before I do put that into one side, I'm going to cut off some of these swarm cells and press them into another frame that's got some fresh comb on it, and place them in there. And then I'm going to go through my hives here and find another strong hive and pull a frame of brood and shake some other bees in there with this and those swarm cells that I transplant. So what I'm going to show you is how I cut these off, transplant them onto a frame, and I'm going to transfer the 3 frames in here over into this. But before I do that, I'm going to cut off a couple cells. So let's get started on that. Let me get this cleaned out and get this frame out here where I can have access to it. You can see what I'm doing. So I'll try and get as much bees as I can over here on just the one side. So not many there, but quite a few right here. So this second frame is the one with our queen cells. I'm going to grab the other one from the other side. So that frame's going to go right between those. But first I'm going to work on it and get those queen cells off. So I'm going to lightly shake the bees off. You don't want to shake a frame with queen cells on it normally, but in this case I don't have any choice because I want to be able to get to these. So there's a queen cell right there, and there's multiple over here. I'll give you a better shot of them here in a second. Let me get these bees off of here. So I'm just gently shaking it. I'll put this frame back in there to collect those bees. I'll get the lid on this, keep those bees in there. So I'm gonna do my work here on this hive here. Quite a few bees on this box still. I want to get over here into this. So here's our cells right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And that one on the end there's not capped, and there is a larva in there. And then there's 3 on this side right here. So I'm going to leave this side alone. I'm going to work on this side here that has so many of them. Put it on this brick so I don't smash the ones on the other side. These are almost like emergency queen cells, because if you notice, there's larvae right here. So they pulled those down off of eggs that was laid not too long ago after I did the split. So that's kind of, so they had swarm cells, and then they pulled out more after I pulled our queen out. So these are basically emergency cells, I would say, and not really swarm cells, because they knew they went queenless. So what I'm going to do is try to get some of these out of here without destroying them. I may not have any luck, but we'll try. Try these 2 right here on the end. And I'm going to go in right against the plastic frame. I'm going to get into a couple of these worker cells right here, but that's okay. That white stuff you see is from that worker larva, not these queens. So if we're successful, when I get these off of here, you won't see the queen on the back side when I pull it off. I want my blade to be as flat to the surface as possible to get underneath there. Now if you got wax foundation, this is a lot easier. You just cut them out from the whole thing from the other side as well. There we go. I think I about got it. Okay. Now we'll flip it over and see if we were successful. And no. Can't do it. There's just not enough space in there to get them out. So you can see how I disturbed the enclosed queen there. I might be able to cover that with some wax and get that to work, but probably not. So I'm going to just take some of these out and leave a couple, because this isn't going to work. Now I've had success doing this when they're down here on this wood. I'll cut into the wood a little bit and get them off of there. Yeah, that's not going to work. So let's look at the other side real quick. See if possibly I could do it over here. The one there on the left looks like it's fairly high up, a little more than these others. So let me try that one. It's free. I think we have success. The wet that you're seeing there, I think is from that worker brood. So we'll try that. Let me go ahead and try that other one. Maybe we can do it with two. There's two more right here. They're so small I didn't see them. Thing in that egg was right against the frame when they started making this into a queen. So I got to get clear down to the bottom. Nope. Didn't get it done. Possibly if I close it off like that. Yeah. Some of that's from the other cell by it. But I don't think that's going to work. We'll try it. So worst case, this other split won't work out, and if it doesn't, we'll just pull the divider out to make it one. So I'm going to return this. We should probably take those two out and leave like these four. I'm going to kill that one, this one, this one. I'm going to leave those three right there. Actually, I'm going to leave these two, and I'm going to keep a close eye on it. And if I see virgin queens in there extra, I'll move her over. Be careful not to break those off. Okay, now we need to find a frame of brood and some more bees to make our split with these queen cells here. Here's what we got. One of these looks pretty good. It's that one there. And these two are broken in the back. They might seal it up if I press it in there into some other comb. And this one is kind of iffy. So I think we got one viable one here. This one right here. Okay, I've got a frame here with some nice looking comb, and I'm going to transplant these cells onto it. I'll start out with this double one here. to practice, because that was probably not going to be any good anyway. So I just kind of spread the comb apart and push it off at the bottom so the queen can emerge. And I'll put this in here a little wider, like that. Press it in lightly, don't deform the queen cells. And then I push the comb back against it a little bit to hold it in place. So that's pretty well set. Push this down some more. So that's in there good. That won't move. That won't come out unless the bees remove it. I kind of pressed it in there so it's resealed on the back. But I doubt that's going to work. So let's do these two singles. I'm going to try and push it up to the top to kind of seal that top in there good, where it was exposed a little bit. This one's not working as easy as those. I hate to push on this bottom here. Clear out the bottom so the queen can emerge. And kind of wrap these cells here around it to hold it. Now this one, I'm pretty certain it's good. So the white stuff you're seeing is from the worker cells that were right next to it. Ones that they didn't pull the queen out of. Sticking out a little more. So again, you don't want to squeeze that cup, you don't want to deform it. Keep it the same shape as much as possible. That doesn't need much push down for the queen to emerge. There we go. All right. Now they're in there solid. So that's what they look like. That one on the right, I think it's pretty good. The other one's pretty iffy. Okay, now let's go get us some bees to populate and put over those queen cells. Now you want to make sure you don't leave these laid out where they're going to get direct sunlight on them and overheat, or get cold if it's cold out. You don't want to do that. So this hive 14 here is my candidate. That looked like it was strong and had dry queen cups, so it's a good candidate to check to do a split off of. Get these supers off. This is lightweight, so there's not a lot in it. Not a lot of coverage. So this is all bare comb. So I put an empty one underneath. So they're not doing much. But you look there, they look pretty strong. I might be better served to put that undrawn one on the top, because that top super I think is probably drawn out already. Actually, I'm not gonna pull this excluder off. I'm just gonna pop the top, or pop it in half, so I can check these cells. So there's what we got. So it looks to me like all these cups are still dry. There's nothing in them. So I could go ahead and pull the split out of here and look for me a good brood frame or two and a food frame. Lots of nectar and pollen right there. So they're working this part down here good. They're just not making that transition up to the super. And maybe it's because all that empty comb's right above them. They're not interested in moving up. So here's just a good brood frame. Not many nurse bees on it though. So I'll grab this. I'm just going to set it aside. Make sure my queen's not on there, because I need to grab some other bees, frames of bees out of here and shake them into that space in that nuc. Trying to locate my queen. If I do that, I don't have to worry about shaking her in there. I wish there were more bees up on here. Get this smoke out of here. I may have smoked them a little too much and ran all my nurse bees down. It's another brood frame. A few open larvae, but she's pretty much done with this. And this, I'm gonna go ahead and shake this over there. Although there's not a lot of nurse bees hanging out right here at the moment. Lots of drone brood there at the bottom. So I'm gonna get my frame with the queen cells on it, put it in here, put it over there where my queen cells are against that wall for now, so I could shake bees in here, not worry about hitting those queen cells. Do another quick look for my queen, just in case. Sun is glaring on this veil. All right, so when I shake these off, I'll go over and get on that other frame and start covering it up. So here's another frame of bees with brood. I may just drop this in there as it is. Actually, this is just freshly laid up, so I'm going to return this to the hive. But I need to make sure my queen's not on here, because this is highly likely a place where she would be. So this is what I'm looking at. So this is pretty much all nurse bees here, because there's uncapped larvae all over this and eggs. So when you put a frame of brood into your hive on a split, it's best that as many capped as possible, and not bees that are larvae and uncapped that need a lot of attention, because they're not going to have the resources in this new split like they do in the big hive, with lots of bees, lots of nurse bees, lots of resources to feed them and take care of them. Okay, I think we're safe here. Going to shake these in. Return this back. So I want one good brood frame and one frame that's got some food resources on it. And I will put some 50-50 with Hive Alive in those top feeders. And I'm going to move it away from where it was, because there's black ants over there pretty bad. I'm going to leave it over here for now. So here's pollen and nectar. So I'm just going to drop this in as it is. And that'll be the food frame. And then I need a frame with some brood. There's a few drone larvae on here. That's okay. You just don't want a bunch. Making sure my queen's not on here. You don't want to move your queen, especially on a good hive like this one. I think we're good. So drop that in there. And I'm going to scoop my frame with the queen's cells into the middle. And I'm going to get me a brood frame and put next to that. Let's see what else we've got over here. Maybe we'll find us a good brood frame with a bunch of capped brood. No. Here's another one. Yeah, here's a frame with a lot of capped brood. Look for a queen. And this has some honey up in the corners, so that'll be food for them. so feeding isn't as critical. When you're making 3-frame splits, if you're not in a nectar flow, you gotta really watch it and make sure they're fed and have adequate resources. Don't see the queen? So at this hive, if the brood is on the outside frame, it's okay because it's a double nuc in the middle here, so they're getting warmth from the other side as well. Okay, I'm gonna call that good. Okay, we need to button this one back up. So I've got a frame here, partially drawn. The wax is going to be a little dry on here, so it's 2023. So I'm going to rub a little wax on here with this wax crayon. This is just a 1 ounce wax bar that I made from my cappings. So this will help them draw this out faster and less apt to make a wonky comb on it. There, you see the wax on there now. It's real thick. Get the other side. And the bees are getting pissed. Yeah, they're coming from over here. I thought they might be from this hive that I'm working on top of. All right, so I'm gonna put this undrawn frame between brood frames. Then I'm just gonna scoot them over and check her in these empties. I've drawn old brood frames that are still in pretty good shape. I forgot about this one. This one I took out of there and shook out. I was wondering where that went. I was looking over here. So that's the one I was wanting to put in the box over there. Ugh. All right. Looks like we got one more to work in. 3, 6, nope, that's it. The other ones, they're outside frame. So I must have replaced 3. So I'm going to switch these supers around. Put that undrawn one on the top. I need to make a note that there's a spare super on this that I could grab because they're not working it. See how they're looking on this one. It's a little heavier than the other, but that's because it's drawn comb. I don't think there's any nectar up here. Nope. Not a lot of bees up there. They're not working it. So my super placement was way more optimistic than the bees' performance on this so far. And that's okay. We can grab this top super. If we got one that's busting at the seams and needs more room, I can throw that on there. Pull it off of here. I just need to remember that's where it's at. So this box right here is kind of a frame bank. It's sealed up from the bottom and the top, so bees can't get in there. Most bugs can't get in there. Wax moth can't fly in there. And so this is an empty spot here. So I'm going to set my nuc, double nuc right here. I don't want to take it around the corner where it came from. There's 2 blank spaces side by side over there, so if they both worked out, that would work. But I don't think they will survive over there because of the black ants. This will give them a little bit of protection. I got some bees up here in the top that if I try and get them back in, more will come out than I put back in. So when they're up here in this top, they're trapped with this lid on. So I got to get them out. And I'm going to get some feed in here. And I'm not going to fill them full. I'm just going to maybe put them half full. Because this attracts ants. Now as long as there's liquid in there, the ants can't get into the hive from the top, but they get in there and they drown. And ants in the syrup makes it nasty. Okay, got both of those filled halfway. And these bees need to go back home where they came from. I wish this lid would be sealed to ants when you put it on, but there's vents on the ends that they can come in from. Okay, now I'm going to leave them locked down for a day. I'll open them up tomorrow or the next day, but they've got everything they need. This has ventilation. There's 2 vents here, and to let them out, you just slide these over, and there's 4 holes on each one, so they can come and go out here. So they've got food, and this will acclimate them to their hive with their new queen cells on this side and this side. It's just a split. So the bees I shook in there that aren't nurse bees and might want to fly back to their home hive, this will make them want to stay if I've locked them down in here for at least 24 hours. I like to do it a little longer if possible. If it's really hot out, I don't like to do this because they can't get too hot. You don't want your bees in full sun when they're locked down like that. Make sure my vents are open here in the back, and they are. Okay, so that's it for this video. Did us 2 splits into this double Apimaye Nuc, 3 frames each. And this side has transplant cells, so we'll check them in a week and see how good of a surgeon I am, which is probably not very good. You really want to do that with natural comb so you can cut that whole cell out all the way around the back side so you're not getting close to that larva. If your cells are hanging off the bottom on a plastic frame like that, you can get them that way. But the way I was doing it here, I just did it for the sake of the video so you could see how you could use queen cells and put them where you need them. So queen cells are a good commodity, right? They're a valuable resource to you. So use them to your advantage. So I could have bought queens from Wildflower Meadows and spent, I don't know what they are now, 40 bucks a piece. 40 bucks a piece for a bug. So yeah, I'm confident in this side here that had them naturally that we left, but the ones we transplanted, probably not going to take. So if they don't, we'll just pull that divider out and it'll just be a bigger single nuc. And if that's the case, we'll just drop it in place right here and put it into a wooden box and use our Apimaye for another split some other time, or whatever we need to do with it. So that's the end of the video. Give me a thumbs up. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was informational. Put any comments or questions you have down below, and please subscribe on your way out. I appreciate it. We'll catch you on the next beekeeping video. Y'all take care.